sun was high up and the heat treacherous as we made our way across the vast black desert.
Toe to tip, this is a bark.
We had been traveling for about 4 hours and I was already tired from sitting in my saddle. Thick sweat beaded my face as my parched mouth cried for water. I reached into my saddlebags and pulled out my water skin. Raising it to my dried lips, I took a long gulp before replacing the cap and returning it to my saddlebags. The heat was so unbearable that it was causing shapes of false objects to form in the desert sand. And even the heat wave that the desert was producing caused the images of Link and Dalamar to look distant and warped. Though we pressed on, pushing our very horses to the limit, their mouths gaped open, their tongues dry from the hot desert air. The minutes that we spent in that damn desert of death seemed like hours when finally, a miracle by the goddesses loomed just ahead. After what seemed like an endless push through that treacherous desert, we finally came to the end and emerged near a vast rushing river. 18. This is the Snake River, Dalamar said, as his crystal eyes scanned the bank on the other side. The river is too fast and deep to cross on foot. We'll have to build a raft large enough to ferry the horses on. Scanning the area surrounding the river, I noticed a large thicket of trees just upriver. There's a large amount of foliage just a short way upriver. We can use those trees to build a raft. Walking up beside me, Dalamar scanned the way ahead. I see no signs of any danger up that way, so let's get a move on. We pressed on upriver and into the thick foliage. There we proceeded to make a makeshift raft, using vines found among the trees to hold it together.
We will need a lot more hemp before we're through.
After we pushed it down to the bank, we loaded on the horses, then Link and I went on, followed by Dalamar. Taking a long pole made of wood, Link steered us along the river's swift current, taking heed to watch for rocks lying wait under the river's white caps. Slowly but surely we made our way across and onto the other side. From there we mounted and headed for Dragon Mount. The sky was setting off tones of deep pink and lavender, the sun starting to set as we neared Dragon Mount. I watched in awe as the dragon-shaped mountain appeared in the distance. Just then Dalamar turned and looked back at us. We must make haste. The sun has already started to set. This is a bad area to be in after nightfall. We must press on at a faster pace, Dalamar said with worry. But Dalamar, the horses, I started to say. The horses what? Dalamar cut in. They need rest. Look at them. They're exhausted.
I'll have to agree with my wife, Dalamar. The horses haven't had any rest since we left Hyrule, Link added. The only problem is Lord Ariaka's knights patrol this area at night. If we don't press on past Dragon Mount, we might be found by the 19 Dark Knights. And trust me, you don't want to get captured by them. They've been known to be ruthless, and even as far as to kill in blood for glory, Dalamar said shakily, his eye glaring over at us. I fought worse than that. How can these Dark Knights amount to what Ganondorf was? Link said stoutly as he shifted his saddle. Listen, hero, you don't understand these Dark Knights like I do. My people have been fighting them for centuries, and trust me, they're more ruthless than you think they are. Just then I spotted something up ahead. By the goddesses, what the hell is that up there? I said, as I pointed my finger skyward. Dalamar raised his head up then, cried out, Draconians, we must get the hell out of here before we're spotted. Dalamar screeched, taking off, full throttle. Booting my horse in the legs, the animal took off at full speed behind Link. We pushed on at a full gallop, winding around small boulders lining the dirt road. I lowered my head down till my chin was against the horse's tattered mane. The wind whipped the horse's mane against my face as we rode. Dragon Mount slowly loomed over us as we came closer. Eerie tendrils of black smoke swelled around it, making it look like an evil creature waiting to attack.
At just the right moment. Attack!
Hurry! Hurry, we must reach the safety of Dragon Mount! Dalamar cried again, his voice warped over the howling wind. We rode hard and fast. The hooves of our galloping horses kicked up dust and dirt behind them as the shadows of the overhead creatures threatened to close in on us. The eerie screeching of the massive dragons rang through my ears as they came closer. The beating of their massive leathery wings stirred up dust clouds around us. I looked up and saw that they were closing in on us. The dragon's huge black talons were outstretched, its angry yellow eyes piercing deep into mine. Dalamar, we've been spotted! They're closing in on us! I cried over the howling wind, my eyes wide with fear. Hurry! We're almost there! Dalamar screeched. We must reach Dragon Mount before they do! I booted my horse again, forcing her to go as fast as possible, her eyes wide with fear as the death screeches of the dragons came closer. Dragon Mount was just ahead, just a few feet further. We came upon it. The black swells of smoke rose around us as we moved to the base of that gigantic rock formation. Pulling my horse to a skidding stop, I dismounted and moved alongside Link and Dalamar while guiding my horse by the reins. There is a cave just big enough on the other side. We must hurry and take sanctuary inside it before the Draconians come for us, Dalamar urged, his crystal blue eyes watching the black skies above. We slowly made our way around the small mountain under the cover of the thick smoke that wrapped around it, its eeriness causing shivers to run down my spine. We listened as the dead silence was broken by the cries of dragons as they landed just meters from where we were hiding, causing the horses to buck and neigh, their eyes wide with fear. Keep those horses quiet, the dragons will hear them, Dalamar growled. Link and I quieted our horses with a few pats to the neck and words of reassurance. The dragon's evil yellow eyes pierced the darkness as their nostrils flared in searching for us. We just remained quiet, moving ever so slightly as we made our way to the other side. Just then Dalamar caught sight of what type of dragons were hunting us. Oh, by the goddesses, those are blue dragons, the most dangerous of all dragons. Their eyes can see the slightest movements, and they can smell almost anything. We must remain cautious. They're searching for us, and if we move too fast, they'll spot us for sure. Dalamar whispered as he moved his back up against the smooth surface of Dragon Mount. As we moved, I watched as the two dragons' piercing yellow eyes scanned the base of the mountain for us, their jaws gapped open, exposing their long fangs against the blackness. Just looking at those yellow eyes full of bloodlust made my body quiver in fear, as their long fangs looked as if they could tear a man in half. Then I noticed something move against the back of one of the dragons. As I narrowed my eyes, I was able to make out a figure in black armor, lined with skulls of death, its helm shaped like a skull with horns, as a dark blue cape whipped wildly around the figure's shoulders. In the figure's hand was a long sword with the emblem of a 20 black lily at the base of the blade, its deadly surface reflected against the dim light of the moon. Oh no, by the goddesses, those must be the dark knights Dalamar told us about, I whispered to myself, eyeing the dark figure on the dragon's back. If they are as deadly as Dalamar says, then we must escape at all costs. I pushed up closer against Link, taking his hand in mine, and squeezed it tightly. Don't worry, my love, we'll be all right, Link reassured soothingly, his hand squeezing mine back. We won't be if we don't hurry. The cave's just up ahead, Dalamar retorted quietly, his beak brushing against the thick smoke. Just before we made it to the cave entrance, one of the dragons stepped out, just a few feet from it, its yellow eyes staring directly down in the direction where we were hiding. Its nostrils flared as it sniffed the air, its mouth gaped wide, thick saliva dripping from its fangs. Oh no, by the fires of hell, I think they're onto us, Dalamar cursed, the color draining from his eyes. It must smell the horses. Horse meat is a dragon's favorite food. Then what the hell do you suppose we're going to do? Link growled, his face twisting into a scowl. We have no choice but to break for it. Hopefully we can outrun them, Dalamar returned. Though the thought of running straight into a dragon's claws didn't make Dalamar rest any easier. Link and I mounted our horses and waited for Dalamar's signal. On my signal, take off and break left. Hopefully we can get ahead of them before they notice we've left. Now, go! Dalimar cried as he took off at full throttle, braking just left of the dragon's right side. Booting my horse in the legs, the animal took off at full speed behind Link's stallion, following the same path Dalimar took as we broke north towards the Black Mountains. I heard shouting from behind.
There they go! After them! They have a damned griffin with them, we must capture it!
Came some of the cries. As they noticed us running away, the sound of heavy beating wings filled the air as the massive blue dragons took flight, their cries breaking the dead silence of the night. I hunched down against the horse's neck, its ragged mane whipping against my face as we pushed to reach the sanctuary of the Black Mountains. Hurry, push faster, they're gaining on us, Dalimar shouted. As I looked up, I saw one of the massive beasts closing in on us, its claws outstretched as it started dipping into a dive, its mouth gaped wide. Oh my goddesses, Link, one of them is almost on top of us, I screamed as I heard the massive beating wings just overhead. Then out of nowhere, the other blue dragon dropped down in front of us, its mouth open wide as it blocked our path. The horses skidded to a halt, neighed and bucked, almost throwing Link and I off their backs. Then the other dragon landed behind us, its heavy beating wings kicking up dust and sand around it. Holy shit, we're trapped, Dalimar cried, his eyes turning a ghostly white.
How right you are! You will not escape the dark nights of Ariakas!
Sneered one of the figures looming on the dragon in front of us.
Surrender quietly, and we just might go easy on you!
The other knight sneered. I watched as Link pulled the Master Sword out of its sheath.
I will not surrender to the likes of you!
Link returned angrily, pointing it directly at the knight in front of us.
Then prepare to die, all of you!
The knight sneered as he dismounted off the dragon in front of us, unsheathing his sword.
And as always, a big thank you to all of the Mutant Museum's incredible Patreon supporters, particularly Zanazira, Break System BSE, and Michael Fattori. You can see your own name up here at the end of the videos for as little as $1 a month. And if you enjoyed this, please like, subscribe, watch my other videos. Watch my videos where I'm a guest on the I Will Say This Though channel. There will be a link in the description to the latest one of those. And I'm now on Hive Social. We'll see if that thing takes off. According to all known laws of aviation, there is no way Hive Social should be able to fly. But we'll see. We'll give it a shot. In the meantime, thanks for being you.